aces and kings are seldom contradictory. Add deuces and threes, and it's on to victory on Card Sharks. And here's the host of Card Sharks, Jim Perry.
Welcome to Card Sharks. Thank you. And a very literate opening poem from Kathleen Faulkner of Alex, Virginia. Thank you, Kathleen, for the opening poem. We have a fine champion who's going for the big dollars with the money cards right now, so let's bring her up, Rita Roy. Hello, lovely Rita. Nice to see you again.
Oh, it's nice to be back, Tim.
You looking well?
Thank you. Didn't get the flu either.
No, that's good. Won't you again remind us about yourself?
Well, I'm Rita Roy, and I live in Canoga Park, and I'm formerly from Nova Scotia, Canada. And I have a great-grandson, and I'm expecting one in May, since I saw you, I got the word.
You're expecting another baby?
Yeah,
Even not yours, another great-grandson, yes.
Yes.
And Rita so far has won $2,350 in cash. You ready to add to that total?
I am going to hope to.
Let's open the board and get to the money cards. Come on, Rita. Hop up there if you will, lovely lady. And we'll start dealing out the money cards. They've been shuffled and cut. Janice will start dealing them out as we give you $200 on the bottom line and these three cards. Remember, when you move up to the second level, we add another $200 and three more cards. Your minimum bets are $50 till you get to the top card, the big bet, and there you must risk at least half the money. There's a lot up there, and I hope you're going to take away a bunch. Here's $200. And remember, you can change your base card on each of our three levels if you need to. Right now, you're starting with $200 and a 10. Do you want to play that?
I'll play that. I'll play that one.
You're going to play the 10?
Yes.
All right. Audience doesn't agree with you, but it's your decision, Rita. If you like the card, you play it. You've got $200 and a 10. What do you want to do?
Well, I'll say $50 that it's lower.
$50 that this card is lower than a 10. Oh, no, it's a king. But with $150, you've got a much better card, the king.
That it's lower.
All of it.
Yeah.
$150 lower than a king. Yes, with an 8. Now we're moving $300, and you're right up the middle with an 8, Rita.
$50 that it is lower.
Well, lower, $50 lower than this 8. Aha, you got it. A 7 and $350. Up goes the 7. We'll give you another $200. You've got $550. Do you want the 7?
Change that card.
Here's the next card off the top of the deck. Let's see if we get a good change. Yes, a queen.
I'll bet for $350 that it's lower.
How much, Rita?
$350 that's lower.
$350 lower than a queen. Yes, with a jack. Ooh, had to look at that one close, another face card.
$400 that it's lower.
$400.
Lower.
Lower than a jack. No. Ooh, queen, jack, queen. Down to 500, but a good card and still 2 to go, Rita, so let's do it.
Say about $400 that it's lower.
Let's get it much lower. $400 lower than a queen. Oh, no! Look at those high cards. Up goes the best card you could have. Rita, you've got $100 and an ace.
I'll bet it all that it's lower.
I can't imagine why. Come on, let's get $200 out of this. Lower than an ace. Yeah. Oh, now we got it too. $200. Oh, you got a lot of high cards there.
Oh, they were awful, weren't they?
They really were. Come on down here. My goodness. But it's another $200, and you're still here, and you'll meet a new challenger.
Fine, I need another challenge.
Good. We'll meet that new challenger right after we take time out for this commercial message. All right, Rita, we're going to open the board and get to the cards right now. And as the big wheel turns, ladies, you'll start dealing out the cards, please, to brand new decks of cards and a new challenger on Card Sharks. Hello, Jan Newton.
Hi, Jan.
Nice to see you again. There was if Jan is familiar to you, a little while ago, Jan was on the show. We had a little problem, and we felt we were a little unfair to you. Not much, but we wanted to bring you back, give you another chance, okay?
Thank you so much for allowing me to
Not at all. That's the least we can do. You're a nice lady. Won't you tell us about yourself, and won't you straighten out your card there, because you almost changed your name, Jan. Thank you. There you go. Again, remind us about yourself.
All right, I'm Jan Newcomb from Ketchum, Idaho, which is about 1 mile from the world-famous ski resort Sun Valley. Needless to say, I love to ski, play tennis, and jog. Been married to the same man for 27 years, have 4 beautiful daughters, 2 fantastic son-in-laws, and my daughter called me last night and said we're going to be a grandparent. We are going to be grandparents this summer.
Well, congratulations, new grandmother. That's great, Jan. Good to have you back.
Thank you.
You've cut the cards?
Yes.
Then we're all set to go.
Okay.
Good luck to both of you. And the cards have been shuffled. The players cut them. Rita, the champion, plays the upper cards, the red deck. Jan, the challenger, plays the lower cards, the blue deck. And we play the best 2 games out of 3. We'll start with a question for the champion. Rita, we asked 100 men who have been divorced 3 or more times. And we asked them, during a tender moment, have you ever accidentally called a new wife by an ex-wife's name?
That will happen very easily.
How many men admitted they have?
I would say that there would be about 45.
45 men divorced 3 or more times, got their wives mixed.
I agree with Rita. I think after 4 times married, I'm sure that
3 or more.
3 or more, all right. But I'm going to go higher.
Higher than 45. If it is higher, you'll get to play the cards first, Jan. If not, it'll be Rita. And the actual number of divorced men who have called their new wife by an ex-wife's name is 27. Not higher, Rita. Still, 27's enough to get them in a lot of trouble. Rita, you start off with a 4.
Oh, that's a good card, Jim. I think I'll go higher, Jim.
Higher than a 4? Oh, no, a 2. Ooh, and the cards fail the champion, giving Jan a free chance to play a 9.
Oh, Jim, I'm going to go lower.
As it is, Jan knows if you don't win the question, you cannot change it. Lower than a 9? She's a 7. Now we move over the freeze bar. Can't take those cards away. Janice will fill in the space for you, Rita. And Jan, your first question. We asked 100 people. Do you approve of President Carter's decision to establish diplomatic relations with Red China? How many people do approve?
Jim, there's been so much controversy over that right now, and we've discussed that many times at home, and I'm sure do. You said do.
How many do approve?
Do approve. I think that figure is going to be low. I'm going to say 35.
35 of the 100 people do approve of establishing diplomatic relations with Red China.
Listening to the news, I would think that there's more agreeing with them, and I think it's a little bit higher.
So you say higher. The actual number of people who approve of President Carter's decision to recognize Red China is 60. You're right, Rita. It is higher, yes. Rita, you have a 4.
Well, I'll go higher, Jim.
Higher than a 4? Yes, this time it is with a queen.
Now I'll go lower.
Lower than a queen. A jack.
Lower.
You're going to risk it. Lower than a jack. Oh, no, it's another jack. It's not lower. And you lose all 3 cards again. Back to the base card. A break for you, Jan.
Jim, I'm going to go higher.
Higher than a 7. Couldn't take advantage of it. And Janice will fill in the spaces. Question 3, Rita. Rita, we asked 100 girls who are seniors in high school. Now, be honest. When your mother talks, do you listen? How many teenage girls confess they really don't listen when Mama talks?
Well, they got so much on their mind, I guess they don't listen very often.
You're being very kind.
And it's a long time since I was in high school. But I would say that would be about 25 that would listen.
25? How many don't listen?
Don't listen.
That's right. How many don't listen?
I would say about 70.
70 don't listen when Mama talks.
I'm agreeing with that figure, because I have a senior, and I'm going to go lower, though, Jim.
Lower. The actual number of girls who really don't listen when their mother talks is 43. You're right, Jan. It is lower.
Please, may I change that card?
Yes, you won the question. Now you can change that 7 to a 9. You're right back where you started.
Jim, we haven't seen any face cards. I'm going to go higher.
Going a little against the odds. Higher than a 9.
Yeah!
With a 10.
Jim, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go lower.
Lower than a 10. It is
I'm going to go higher.
last game of the match, higher than a 2. Game 1 of the challenger with $50. We'll set up for game 2. That'll be coming up right after this commercial break, so don't go away. And we are back, game 1 of the challenger with $100. Janice is dealing out the same 2 decks of cards. These are the next cards off the top of the deck. And Jan, you said a nice thing, just to win that one game of the $100. You're happy.
It pays half my plane fare down
Well,
here.
that's good. She might get the other half right
Right.
now if Rita doesn't catch up. Jan, we found 100 expectant fathers. These are all men whose wives are at least 6 months pregnant. And we asked them, if we lined up 5 pregnant women, all with bags over their heads, would you be able to pick out your wife from her shape? How many expectant fathers said they'd be able to pick out their wife?
I hope they'd be able to pick out their wives. They are with them at least, 20 hours of the day, or 12 anyway. I'm going to say 57.
57 men would be able to pick out their wife by her shape.
Well, looking at them so many days of the year and getting used to them, I would say that it's going to be higher, Jim.
Even higher than that?
Yeah.
The actual number of expectant fathers who would be able to pick out their wife is 89, very much higher. Rita. And in a game that the champion needs, Rita starts with an ace.
Lower, Jim.
Lower than an ace, a 7.
Please.
Raising it, taking the 1-card advantage. And Rita, we asked 100 single women. Is there a man in your life you'd marry in a second if only he would ask? How many single women said yes, there is?
Well, I think there'd be a lot of women say that because the man in their life, if they really had a crush on him, they would want to marry him. I would say about 45 anyway.
45 single women said, yeah, there's a man they'd marry in a second if you just asked.
With Women's Lib and the women becoming very independent, I think they'd really think about it. Just in a second, they'd ask. I'm going to say lower. I'm going to say lower.
And the actual number of single women who know a man they'd marry if he'd only ask is 60. Not lower. Rita. You have a 7, Rita.
I'll change that card, Jim.
Changing the 7 to an 8. Oh, you're right up the middle.
Yeah. I will say lower, Jim.
Lower than an 8. Yes, a 4.
Higher, Jim.
Higher than a 4. It is a 9.
Freeze.
Freezing it. Rita needs 1 card to tie up the match. Jan, we asked 100 people. On New Year's Day, had you already broken a resolution you made on New Year's Eve? How many people on New Year's Day had already broken a resolution they just made on New Year's Eve?
I've been through many, many New Year's Eve and made many resolutions, and I'm sure that I've broken quite a few that first day. I'm going to say at least 67 said they had.
What is it you usually try to give up and don't make, Jan? You have to tell us?
Oh, golly, everything is so good right now.
Oh, I
don't see.
67. Rita, higher or lower?
Well, I would say higher than that, Jim, because they have good intentions, but they drop it.
See, even the same day,
yeah.
higher. The actual number of people who've already broken a resolution they made on New Year's Eve is 34. Higher, Jan. Yeah, that's really kind of cutting it close.
Right.
Okay. Jan, you're starting with a queen.
Fine, let's go lower.
Lower than a queen. Yes, a 4.
Let's go higher.
Higher than a 4 is a 7.
Let's freeze.
Freezing it. Rita needs 1 card. Jan needs 2 cards. We are at sudden death. Someone has to win with this play of the cards. Rita, we asked 100 fashion models in New York City. Very simply, were you a beautiful child? How many models said that they were a beautiful child?
Well, when they're beautiful models, I would say that they were pretty beautiful babies. They never change. So let me say about 60.
60 fashion models.
I've seen many models interviewed. Many of them have shown their baby pictures, and they're not as beautiful as they are now. I'm going to say lower.
Lower. The actual number of models who were beautiful as a child is 55. You're right, Jan. It is lower. Jan, you have a 7. You need 2 cards. Rita has a 9. She needs 1. Do you want to play it or pass it?
I'm going to play it myself, and I want to change that card, please.
Then this is a big change, trying to do it herself. The 7 becomes a 3.
Fine. Let's
You
go
need both.
higher.
Higher than a 3. Yes, a 5.
Let's go higher.
If this is higher, we have a new champion. If it's lower, we have a tie. For the win, yes, it's higher. Jan wins it. And Jan just paid for the rest of the airfare. Rita, thank you. You're a delight. You're leaving us with $2,550. Good luck with the new great-grandchild.
Yeah.
Rita Roy. Thank you, Rita. Jan, come on down. Congratulations.
This means so much to my family. Oh, you just can't believe it.
Jan's going to go for the big money right after this. That's right. Back with the new champion, Jan Newcomb. You don't look like you're going to be a grandmother. I must say.
It's just, I just can't tell you how exciting it is for all of our family.
Good.
And my 17-year-old, oh, she's so pleased.
Are you ready to go for the big money?
Yes.
Let's open the board and get to the money cards. Come on, Jan. Let's top off a nice win with some good money. And once again, money cards all shuffled and cut. As you know, there are 7 cards as Janice deals them out. Your decision how you bet them. If you can go double, double, double all the way up, those 7 cards can add up to $28,800.
I saw it done.
It's been done, yes. Come on, let's do it.
All right.
Here's $200. Jan, let's see if we can start you off with a good base card now. Starting with, an 8. You're up the middle.
Jim, may I change that card?
Yes, indeed. On each level, you can change it. You've got to play this one. A 6.
Okay,
A little
I'm going
better.
to say $100 higher.
Half the money, $100 higher than a 6. Yes, a 7. 300.
Oh, Jim, another $100. Then it's lower.
You've got a
Lower.
feeling a little bit against the odds. She says $100 lower than a 7. No, an 8.
Good card,
But a
though.
good card with $200.
Fantastic. All of it then is higher.
Higher?
Lower. I'm sorry.
$200.
Lower.
Than an ace. Yes, the queen. Now 400. Up goes the queen. With another 200, you've got 600, Jan.
600. All of it then is lower.
Oh, big
All
miss.
of it.
$600. Lower than a queen. Yes, 2. 1,200.
All of it is higher.
All or nothing again. $1,200, risking that this one is higher than a 2. It is a 5 for $2,400.
Half of it, that is higher.
Again, a big bet, $1,200. Let's see a face card. Come on, higher than a 5. Yes, there's a face card. $3,600. Up goes the jack. Big decision. Do you want that jack?
Yes, I'll keep the jack.
Then you must bet at least $1,800, Jan.
3,000, that it is lower.
Ooh, a big bet on a jack. Woo. I hope you're right. $3,000. Lower than a jack. Yes! $6,600. Oh! Way to go! That was some gutsy betting.
We have so many bills. You're going to get paid off.
That's nice. We'll be right back, right after this. That's the best use of the money I can think of. Jan, we want to get a new challenger out here, so Janice will deal out the cards, and here comes a new player on Card Charge. Tony Keyser. Hello, Jeannie. Tony, pleased to meet you. Want to quickly get into a match, so won't you tell us who you are and where you're from?
I'm Tony Keyser. I'm from Australia. I'm working as a scientist at the University of Southern California.
Well, we're delighted to have you here. We're running out of time, so let's get into your match. Tony, of course, you'll play the lower cards, the blue cards. Jan, now the champion, plays the upper cards, the red cards. Jan, now, people have a lot of faith in Walter Cronkite, so we asked 100 people if Walter Cronkite reported tonight that a flying saucer had landed on the White House lawn. Would you believe him? How many people said they would believe Walter Cronkite?
I really believe people know what's happening and would go to some other station to make sure that this hadn't happened. And so I will say maybe 20 believed Walter Cronkite.
20 believe Walter.
Walter Cronkite is such a trustful man. I'd go much higher than that.
Higher.
Higher.
The actual number of people who would believe Walter Cronkite if he reported a flying saucer had landed on the White House lawn, 52. You're right, it's higher, Tony. Tony, your first crack at the cards. You got a queen.
Oh, stay with it. I'll go lower, Jim.
Lower than a queen. Oh, no, it's a king. Not lower. The champion gets a free chance to play a 10.
Okay, I'll go with the odds and go lower.
Lower than a 10, a 2.
Go higher.
Higher than a 2, a 3.
Go higher.
Higher than a 3, a 5.
Go higher.
For the first game of the match? No! Oh, no! She loses all of the cards. We'll take care of that business and see you next time on Card Charge. Bye-bye for now, everybody.
jam it to the pump, the pump.
Watch out, it's back. Whammy, the all-new Press Your Luck. Premiering April 15th, only on Gameshow Network.
Mark Goodson-Bill Todman Productions.